Congratulations, inhabitants of Terrera. The enthusiastic voice belonged to Zeril, the Arborian ambassador representing the Intergalactic Consortium. Zeril's tall figure stood around 2.5 meters, with a delicate frame supported by 2 elongated limbs for walking and 2 more for gesturing. Her skin shimmered in a spectrum of emerald greens and deep violets, signaling her heightened excitement. Beside her stood Ambassador Sarah Lang, the newly appointed representative of the human race. Originally, Earth had chosen an experienced diplomat, but a sudden medical emergency on the long voyage to the Galactic Assembly necessitated a last-minute replacement. Sarah, a 40-year-old junior diplomat, was quickly sworn in as the interim representative before another could be dispatched from Earth. Thank you, Sarah replied hesitantly, unsure of what exactly she was being congratulated for. Zeril's eyes twinkled with delight. This is a truly momentous occasion, unlike anything witnessed in my lifetime. Your species will be immortalized in our history records. What a tremendous honor. Sarah blinked, trying to piece together what she'd missed. Wait, what exactly did we do? She asked, hoping it wasn't something she should have known. Zeril smiled gently. You, dear human, are part of one of the rarest achievements in the galaxy. You have managed to make first contact with the Intergalactic Consortium without having developed your own faster-than-light, FTL, travel. Oh, okay, Sarah replied, still confused. Zeril noticed her bewilderment and raised a limb, gesturing as she reached into a drawer of her desk. Let me find the ancient records, she said, bending over gracefully. After a moment of rummaging, Zeril produced an old tome and laid it on the table, dusting off the cover with a flourish. Here it is, she announced, flipping to the first and only page, which bore only 5 lines of alien script. Sarah squinted at the unfamiliar characters as Zeril grabbed a pen and added a new line. And now, you are the 6th, she declared proudly. The 6th? Sarah echoed, still puzzled. Yes, the 6th species in all of galactic history to make first contact before developing a warp drive. Only 5 others before you have done so. It's truly a remarkable rarity. Sarah crossed her arms. So, is this your polite way of saying we're a bit behind? She asked, raising an eyebrow. Zeril's mouth fell open in shock. No, not at all. You see, the development of FTL technology is largely a matter of luck and knowing it's possible. In fact, the other species on this list developed their own warp drives within a year after making contact. Really? Sarah replied, still skeptical. Absolutely. And don't worry, your species is fully capable. Whether you choose to develop your own warp drives or purchase the technology from another member of the consortium, you'll soon be zipping around the galaxy. Well, that's a relief, Sarah said, exhaling deeply. As for where you can go, Zeril continued, the consortium maintains a map of all claimed systems. Every 10 years, each member species is allowed to claim a new, unclaimed system. It's mostly a formality, as the galaxy is vast and there's plenty of room for everyone. Sarah looked at the star map behind Zeril. I guess we'll have to claim Alpha Centauri and Barnard Star, since we've already started colonizing them. Actually, no. Since you're a pre-FTL species, those systems are automatically your birthright once you develop your first warp drive, Zeril explained. No approval needed. That's good to know, Sarah said thoughtfully. Can we get a copy of the consortium's rules, just to make sure we don't accidentally cause any diplomatic incidents? Zeril chuckled softly. Of course, human. I'll have a translated copy sent to you by the end of the day. 15 years later, President Zeril sat behind her desk, facing a very irate ambassador Core of the Vorex, a reptilian species known for their slow, deliberate movements and tough, armored exoskeletons. But today, Core was anything but calm. This is an outrage, Zeril. Core spat, his scales bristling. How could this happen? A pre-FTL species has claimed nearly every system within a 2-warp radius of our home. Zeril winced slightly. Yes, the humans. Yes, the humans. We sent scouts to investigate, and all they found were communication buoys claiming those systems under some archaic loophole in the consortium's charter. Well, those are the rules, Zeril said with a shrug. Core's tail lashed in frustration. Rules meant to protect primitive species, not let them abuse the system. They haven't even built their own warp ship, they're hitching rides with other species. Zeril nodded sympathetically. Yes, I've heard. But technically, they're within their rights under the current charter. Technically, Core growled, but it's a mockery of our laws. They're even teaching other species how to build better warp drives on Mars, their own planet. Cyril sighed. There's been much debate about closing this loophole, but any amendment will take time. In the meantime, maybe you could work out a deal with the humans. Core looked skeptical. A deal? Yes, they're not unreasonable. Perhaps you could negotiate for one of the systems they've claimed. I'm sure we can find a solution that benefits both sides. Core huffed, his scales slowly settling. Fine, but we won't pay more than 0.5% of our GDP for a system. That seems fair, Zeril agreed, hoping this would calm the situation. 30 years later, the now 70-year-old Sarah stood before Zeril, a satisfied smile on her wrinkled face. With the first flight of our new Starhawk Explorer, we've officially developed and flown our first FTL-capable starship. Zeril resisted the urge to change her skin tone in frustration. It's about time, Ambassador Lang. We've been dealing with your territorial claims for centuries. But congratulations on your new status as a fully fledged FTL species. Sarah grinned. Thank you, Zeril. We couldn't have done it without your guidance. And how many star systems will you be claiming as your FTL birthright? Zeril asked with a sigh. Sarah pulled out a device and read the number. Exactly 79,241 systems. Zeril's skin briefly flashed orange. Only that many? The galaxy is huge, Sarah replied with a wink. Emily's smile faded slightly as she noticed the faint traces of exasperation on Zeril's smooth, iridescent face. She leaned in closer, her voice lowering to a more serious tone. Zeril, I know this might seem overwhelming, but you have to understand our perspective. We've only just begun to understand the vastness of the galaxy, and there's so much potential out there. We're not trying to be greedy or disruptive, we're just excited. Zeril's skin shifted to a calmer blue, a sign that she was trying to maintain her composure. Excited is one way to put it, Emily. But you must realize that your species' rapid expansion, even with good intentions, is causing quite a stir among the other members of the galactic community. The Vorex aren't the only ones who feel threatened by your sudden acquisition of territory. Emily nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. I get that, and believe me, we've had our share of debates back on Earth and Mars about how to approach this. But the truth is, we're still learning how to navigate the politics of this galaxy. It's a lot different from what we're used to. Zeril sighed, her skin fading to a neutral gray. It is, and that's why I'm here to help guide you through it. But Emily, you must understand that there are rules, unwritten as they may be, that govern the behavior of all species within the community. Cooperation, not competition, is what keeps the peace. Emily leaned back in her chair, rubbing her temples. I know. But it's hard to shake off millennia of human history, where competition drove us to innovate, to expand. We're trying to adapt, really. But this galaxy, it's just so different from anything we've ever encountered. Zeril's gaze softened. And that's why we need to work together. The galaxy may be vast, but it's not infinite. There are other species, other cultures, that have existed for millions of years before humans even discovered fire. You must tread carefully, or risk alienating yourselves from potential allies. Emily took a deep breath. You're right. We've been so focused on securing our place in the galaxy that we haven't fully considered the impact on others. Maybe it's time we slowed down, took a step back, and really thought about how we want to interact with the rest of the galaxy. Zeril nodded approvingly. That's a wise approach, Emily. There's plenty of time to explore and expand, but it's crucial that you build strong, positive relationships with your galactic neighbors first. After all, the galaxy isn't just a place to conquer, it's a community to join. Emily smiled, a genuine smile this time, and extended her hand toward Zeril. Thank you, Zeril, for everything. I promise we'll do our best to be good neighbors. Zeril took her hand, her skin shifting to a warm, comforting